Okay. Hey, Sal, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. We are on episode 7.
Already.
Mind and Muscle Unleashed. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to set my timer straight away this time. So it is on the go. So shout out to Fernwood Salisbury for sponsoring us, and coffee cup here. And in it, I don't know, have you ever had this before?
Oh my God,
The
yes.
Macro Nike almond protein hot chocolate, mate, in prep, right? 3.9 gram of protein, 27 calories, 0.8 gram of carbohydrate, and 0.9 grams of fat.
So
Like,
good.
seriously, for prep, and it is delicious. It feels like a treat. It's amazing.
No, it's so good. I actually really like it.
Good. How's your week been? What's going on? Any challenges? What's happening?
Yeah, look, it actually has been a bit of a challenging week this week. Just a few things happening in the background with some health stuff, nothing crazy, but yeah, just trying to navigate that, and it's put a bit of a little spin on my week and my focus. But as you know, I'm booked in for the colonoscopy next week, so fun times. The deep prep starts on the weekend on Mother's Day. But no, look, I've had those challenges, and it's just about, rather than trying to focus on the challenges that have happened and the results that have happened, I'm now reframing it to say, okay, yep, this is what I know, and this is what I need to do next. So yeah, as much as it has been challenging, it gives me a good plan where to go from here. How about you?
Before we move to me, like, without saying much, because obviously, there's some things that you want to keep private. Like, this is some health challenges that you've been facing for quite some time, in terms of, like, you knew that something wasn't right,
Yeah.
but you kept getting fobbed off by the doctor.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And
like, you kept persisting and didn't take no for an answer, right?
yeah, 100%. And I guess I'm in tune with my body enough to know that something wasn't right. And, after months and months of chasing my original doctor down about these things, I just had enough, and it was so exhausting, and it was taking over everything, my daily life, my training, my mental health. So yeah, I was like, nope, time to change doctors. And within 3-4 weeks, I've had CT scans, a colonoscopy booked. Like, it's just crazy what the right person can do. And not giving up, knowing your body and really listening to your body. Yeah.
I think that's the key takeaway in this, is that, you know, our bodies communicate with us all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, we're very quick to tell them to shut up, even though we know that something's not right. We'll pop a pill, we'll get through the day. But at the end of the day, like, you've got to listen to your body. And if it's telling you that something's not right, don't just let it go. Like,
Yeah.
investigate further. And if your doctor isn't going to investigate it, go to one who will, and get it sorted. Because if you don't know what you're dealing with, you can't.
Yeah, and it makes it
I
hard,
think my
like,
internet picture.
if, there was things that come up that I didn't even expect. So it made me even more glad that I did push it and I did listen to my body. Because if I hadn't, there's things that arise that I wouldn't have even known that I need to act on now. So it is. It's just listening to your body, because at the end of the day, if you don't listen, your body's going to make you listen. And that was a bit of Wednesday for me when I could barely even walk in the end. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is not good. And everything kind of happened so quickly from there. But yeah, you're right, 100% listen to your body, because it will give you clear signs, and if you don't listen, it's going to make you listen.
Yeah, definitely. And it will knock you fair on your ass.
Oh yeah.
I haven't always listened to mine. Like, this is coming from somebody who hasn't always listened to their body and has pushed through and has, prioritized exercise and whatnot over actually looking after their body, and just, swept things under the rug. But now it's not something that I do. And yeah, I will push and push to get whatever tests I need to find out what's going on, because like I said, if you don't know, you can't do anything about it. And like, you just continue to feel like rubbish, which is not fun.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, at least I'm on the road to forward now. So that's good.
Yeah. And you don't know what you don't know. So time to find out.
That's it. Yeah. 100%.
What the heck is going on? And then you can come up with a game plan and go from there.
Yeah, that's right. 100%.
Yeah. Well, my week, I've been still riding the high of comp last week, which has been huge for me. So we've obviously, as I said last week, we decided that we're not going to do E&P this week, and put all our eggs in the next baskets, which is the ICN State Show, the Nationals, and ICN. To do that, our goal is to come in as lean as possible, obviously whilst maintaining as much muscle tissue as we can. So yeah, Coach and I came up with a bit of a game plan that is not mild, not for the faint-hearted, and it's, I won't lie, it's uncomfortable. I'm hungry, and it's been a challenge. But as I was saying to you earlier today, like leading into the comp last weekend, like obviously I hoped for a great result. I didn't know who was going to be there on the day. You can never control that. You can't control other competitors. All you can control is what you do in the lead up. So, I had hoped that I would do well. And of course, I wanted to win. You're right there. You look like you're wrestling a small child.
Oh my gosh, it's right. I've got my small child in here.
I have, and my coach believed in me, which, was huge. It's huge for me to have somebody who believes in me. And obviously, I didn't want to let him down. And my posing coach, like Emma, who's just the biggest hype woman, and, she believed in me as well. And did I believe in myself? Well, I don't have anything really to compare that to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I obviously believed that I could do the best that I could do, but that's where it ended. But yeah, like it was such a huge thing to win, and my mindset shift and actually now believing in myself has been huge with what MG is asking me to do this week, because it's uncomfortable and it's hard, but I'm like, I can see that winning is achievable, and I have that self-belief, and to me that's like really driving me this week. So I've been hungry. I've actually been hangry as well. But we've also, I was talking to you about it today as well. We introduced fasted cardio, and it's actually a bit of a game changer in a few ways for me, because, being a single mum, if I'm not being a single mum, I'm in work mode. I'm, always sort of looking after or dealing with people, and you get to the end of the day and you're absolutely shattered. Like, you just want some me time, you just want some downtime, and the kids just want you. And by the time you sort of get them off to bed, you just want that bit of you time. And so for me, I've been finding it's been putting a bit of pressure on me and on the kids, like, to hurry up bedtime routine so that I can have my me time. And I sit on the couch and, like, I'm literally just sitting there watching some shitty TV shows. It's not actually, quality me time. I'm exhausted. I'm just staying up because I want to have some me time, but staying up later than I probably should. So with the fasted cardio, like, I'm getting up earlier. I'm getting my cardio. I listened to a podcast. Like, I listened to a great podcast this morning. Having a sauna, like, I've got the steam sauna at home, and then sitting and, having my breakfast and having my coffee. And the shift that's made in my, like, mental health for the day, like, I'm having my me time at the start of the day, and it's like, it's huge. And then, tonight, have an early dinner, get the kids sorted, brush my teeth with the kids, and then I'll go to bed when the kids go to bed. So, like, I think it's just going to be actually a really positive change. There's always glimmers in there.
Oh, 100%. And, that's some of the posts that I've been putting up this week is, I agree with you. I love my me time in the morning and having that great start to a day. I just feel like my day goes a lot more smoother when I do. Like, I get up, I do my grounding, I do my affirmations, I do my mindfulness, and then, I do my fasted cardio, my social media stuff that I need to do. And I feel just like I've ticked so many boxes by that point. I've given myself what I need to start the day. I've given out to the community by posting helpful content, and I feel like I've achieved so much within the first 2 hours of getting up. So it definitely works a lot better, as like for me, having that time in the morning, because I find if you try have your me time at night as well, you're so exhausted, and like you said, you're just sitting there not really doing anything. So our mind thinks we're having it, but it's not actually productive me time.
And not quality.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you need quality me time,
100%.
just like quality time in relationships and quality time with your children. Like, this is a relationship too.
Oh,
so it needs to be quality as well, right?
100%. 100%.
Not just, like, if you're in a relationship and you're sitting side by side on the couch and you're both on your own devices, or even if you're watching shit TV and you're not having a discussion about it, like, is that quality time as well?
No. And I guess, yeah, this kind of leads into a bit what we're going to talk about today about the reframing. So, we've kind of reframed our minds to see it that way, where we didn't always see it that way.
Yeah. So with today, we wanted to start, because obviously we have talked about, like, negative self-talk and negative attitude and that sort of thing. And, for me, I've done a lot of work on stopping the negative talk and the smack talk. But one thing that sort of I didn't realize, and I'm just starting to realize now, spending time talking to you, and even with the podcast I was listening to today, I'm starting to realize that it's not just important to stop the negative self-talk and the lack of self-belief, but you're saying, and this stuff I'm reading and listening to is saying, that the flip side is just as important.
Not a bit more important, because look, if we dive into the neuroscience behind mindset, reframing isn't just words that we speak. It's actually a biological command, and that shapes our reality and forms our identity on who we are. So, every time we talk to ourselves, whether it's out loud, in our heads, we're literally giving our brain instructions on how to operate. And with that, we're either reinforcing our self-belief or we're reinforcing our fears.
All right, I've got pen and paper. I'm going to start taking some notes
Yeah.
because I want to. Yep. So keep going.
So look, here's the thing. It happens unconsciously too. So when we have a think about it, our brain, it just walks, right? So we don't have to say, take a step, take a step, take a step. It knows to walk because we've trained our brain to think that way. So it automatically does it now. Because from birth, we've learned how to walk. We've never sat there and said, oh, don't walk. So that hasn't changed that, I guess, that brainwave to our brain. So your self-talk works in exact the same way, really. If you've repeated the same internal dialogue often enough, your brain runs with it. And even when you're not aware of it, so like the quiet, I always mess things up, or I'm not good enough, becomes a background program that shapes how you feel and act without even realizing it.
Right. So let's say, like, you've been saying the same thing about yourself over and over and over again, and you simply make the decision to stop doing that, and you catch yourself when you're doing it and you stop doing it. Those thoughts are still cruising around in the back of your head. You're just stopping them from continuing further, but they're still there.
100%. And they will be there until you do this enough for it to become
I'm busy sweating up.
to wire your brain for this to be your normal. Because at the moment, most of our normals is the negative smack we talk. So we now need to train it, Lacey. We now need to train it for that positive. And like, here's the kicker, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's repeated. So if you keep saying, I can't do this, or I'm always messing things up, your brain wires that in like it's a fact in your brain, and it becomes your default setting to your mindset. So it's not just a thought anymore, it's your biology now, because you've talked it that much for it to believe it.
Yeah, right. And you've got to rewrite it, like
yeah, and
reprogram as such.
But that can be the hardest part, because we are so good at saying the negative, but we're not good at doing the positive. So reframing is actually the hardest step in this whole process of self-talk, because it's the one.
So hard. It's so hard. Like, I can stop saying bad things, but to say good things about yourself is so hard. Sebi, please be quiet. Be quiet, please.
100%. And the thing is, you can change it. What my biggest takeaway to everyone would be using second person language. So instead of saying, I've got this, you're going to say, you've got this. The impact is greater on the brain. And
so, like, instead of saying, I'm worthy, or I'm beautiful, or I'm a good person, you would say, you are worthy, you are beautiful, which is actually easier to say, right?
100%. And that's because second person talk is like support. It sounds encouraging coming from someone outside of you, right? So your brain is more likely to respond to that command than saying I. Because I can say to you, you look incredible, but you might not think you look incredible. But when you say to me, Sal, you look incredible, but I don't feel it, it's someone else telling you that. So your brain will accept it more if it's coming from someone else.
And how easy is it? So for me, and I know for you, because I hear you all the time, how easy is it to give somebody else a compliment?
So easy. And that's the actual point, is it's so easy to come from someone else, and the brain is so more accepting, like today, for example, when I had someone at the gym come up and compliment me on my glutes, and I felt proud. But when I look at my own, I see it, but I don't really feel it to my core. Today, I felt that comment to my core, like it. And then I was driving home, and I thought, these facts and this science behind it it's actually true. When you refer to second person language, it means so much more.
And it's not enough somebody else telling you this stuff and relying on other people's compliments to you. Like, you've got to say this to yourself, right?
Oh, 100%. And the thing is, that's why when we're saying if you say to yourself, I don't know if I can do this, and then you reframe it and say, you've overcome things harder than this before, you're going to believe that, right? Already, I'm just saying it out loud like that. I believe it. Like, that hits home a bit about what I'm going through now. If I was to say, I don't know if I can do this, I feel like, defeat and heavy. But if I say, you've overcome things harder than this, and I feel empowered. I feel strong. I feel like I can.
Yeah.
So it's that one little word and that shift on how to reframe it that can just be incredible to the mind and change it in such a powerful way. And the thing is, the second person language, it engages the prefrontal cortex of the brain, and that's the part that's responsible for planning, motivation, and like forward action. So that's why it's really important to say the second person language to change that prefrontal cortex of the brain.
Yeah, wow. So it's just that reprogramming. Yeah,
There's
right.
so many areas of the brain, and look, one day we'll dive into that. It's a lot to take in. But I guess the big thing here is people, and I see this with clients of mine, they'll be like, oh, I told myself today you can do this, but it didn't work out. One important thing is that it takes repetition. And, neurons that fire together, wire together. So the more often you engage in positive second person self-talk, the stronger those pathways become.
And I guess people need to also stop and think about the fact, like, for how many years have you said, and how many times have you said the opposite to what you're trying to say now, right? Like, and if you think that saying something or doing something once is enough to override years and hundreds, maybe even thousands of times you have said, whether out loud or in your brain, you have said that sort of thing, like, you can't override it in one day, in one
Are you all
sentence.
right? Okay, that's why I said stay out of there, please. Oh my God. 100%.
Just like going to the gym, right? Like, if you've spent years and years and years not looking after yourself, not exercising, not eating well, and you go and you join a gym and you go once, or you go, even you go for 6 weeks and you expect to undo all of those things, like, we're
100%.
talking years, right?
That's right. And the thing about this is it's not a one-time pep talk. This is about constant reinforcement, day in, day out. The brain changes through practice. So the more you practice speaking to yourself with encouragement, the easier it is, and the easier it becomes automatic and your reality, essentially. No, there's none. Okay. So yeah, it's you think about it. When we learnt to walk, we didn't walk once, fall over and give up. We kept getting up, and because our brains were so tiny, we didn't have all these challenges interrupting our brain. We just automatically kept on trying to do it, and then we walked, right? Now we're grown-ups and we have more things that interrupt our brain waves. They challenge it, and that's why we now need to repetition to imply that repetition to change it.
Yeah, and to keep it.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
it could, It could so easily sneak back like the other
100%.
way.
And this is the thing, you might start to see growth in yourself, like, oh yeah, I'm becoming more positive. That does not mean stop. That means,
No.
yeah, be proud of yourself, you've grown. But this should be an everyday thing. Like I said, my morning routine, I get up and I tell myself my affirmations every morning. I have about, say, between 4 and 8, and I tell myself them every day, and I swap them each week, and I do them for the 7 days each week. Because if I don't do it for a day, I feel shit. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel empowered. I don't feel like I want to go on and take on the world. Like, where when I do that, I feel empowered to do all those things.
And
So
if you're in, like, I'm just thinking as you're saying that as well, like if you were in a relationship with someone and they told you once that they thought you were beautiful, and look, let's be honest, we all love a compliment and we all want, our significant other to, think that we're amazing and think that we're beautiful and think that we're all this and that. And if they told you that once, or even maybe like once a week or once a month, like you'd be there, you'd be questioning, does this person actually like think that I'm beautiful? Or does this person actually think that I'm worthy?
100%. And I guess the thing is, and the thing about self-talk, and this is why it's called self-talk, and we touched a bit on this today, is you want to be feeding yourself these positive things. You don't want to have to rely on them to come from someone else, because if you tell yourself every day, you're strong, you're beautiful, you've got this, then when you do find a relationship
Or a situationship.
or a situationship, slide that one in. You're not going to be, you're less likely to put up with shit though. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you already know to your core that you are worthy, you are loved, you are great, you are beautiful. So when that person that does come along tells you that constantly, you're going to know that's where it hits for you, and that's the person, because they should be giving you compliments. But if you don't get them and you give that to yourself, and you've got someone who comes in and just tells you that when they want you, or to get attention back from you, you're going to be like, you know what, I don't deserve this, see you later.
And I mean, we could expand on this even further. Like, if you're not telling yourself all of these positive things, and then you end up meeting someone who's got narcissistic tendencies, and we know that they love to love bomb, and they come in and they start saying all of these wonderful things about you, like, you are instantly going to be like, this is my person, because
100%.
finally someone is saying something good about you. But if you've been saying all of these things about yourself in the lead up to, and this person comes in and starts love bombing, it's almost a little bit like you can see through their bullshit more.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, all of a sudden there's somebody telling me this, because you're like, well, I know this stuff. And you could maybe not try, but you're probably going to be more likely to identify whether or not this person is actually genuine and genuinely feels this way and means these things, or if they're just a love bombing, self-serving dickhead.
Narcissist. Yeah. And look, you're 100% right. Like, I think we tie ourselves when we get in those situationships, relationships, and we do get that love bombing. That is their way of pulling you in. And because you're so smitten and overloaded with all yourself, that creates that trauma bond with them. So then what is feeling like compliments is actually a trauma bond developing.
Which
And
we could
we'll do a
elaborate.
session on that one.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
do you know,
we are coming up to the 30-minute mark.
That is crazy. This one is going to take a couple anyway, so yeah.
So we'll touch on it a bit more next week. Next week, we'd love to answer some questions as well. And then in coming episodes, I've had a few people approach me. They want us to talk about trying to start breaking emotional relationships with food. So that's another one that we've got on the radar. We've got so many things that we can talk about. It's exciting.
Makes my heart so happy.
I know. What's on for this week, Sal?
I'm going to have a bit of a quiet week this week. Like I said, I've got the colonoscopy next week, so I'm going to be out for a few days for the start of the week, but hopefully by Thursday, the end of my week should be good. But yeah, just getting through the next week, this weekend and the next few days with the procedures I got, and then get my way back into it, and by midweek. What about you?
And just remember, you know what, your health is more important than impending comps and stuff like that. So get this sorted out, and then we can go hard. Yeah
100%. And that's the way I have to look at it is, if I don't get myself right, I'm not going to be able to do it at all. So let's sort this out, and then I'll be back up there in no time.
Yeah I've got probably till Wednesday of some really hard grinding, digging deep and, going for it. And then, peak week. So thankfully I carb up really quickly, which means I can smash myself till, Wednesday. The biggest challenge for me is going to be keeping inflammation low. So I've actually been invited to a recovery center tomorrow. Recover Right at Salisbury. So maybe when we put up the post, we might tag them as well, because thank you to those guys who have offered me a free session there. Just trying to keep my inflammation at bay and recovering as best as I can. And so I'm not sure when my first coat of tan's gonna be put on. I think it'll probably be on the Saturday, because I tan up, my skin takes to it really well. So we'll do Friday, and then on Sunday I'll have the comp, so we'll be able to talk about that a bit more. But a bit of grind for the first few days, and then I get some carbohydrates. I bought my gluten-free vegan crumpets today that I'll put in the freezer ready to go.
They're on sale this week.
I know. I bought a couple of packs.
Me too, 5.
They didn't have any of the light sweet chili sauce where I went, so.
Oh, bugger.
Yeah. I have one child currently biting the other child's foot.
I've got one child biting me.
So I think our children are telling us that this is basically time up for the podcast.
All over and over.
This is life though, right? Single parent 100%. Life. We're going to roll with it. So thanks to our sponsors, Kojo Coffee.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't think a lot of people actually realize Kojo Coffee is not just a coffee shop. It's a little supplement store as well. And people can buy their supplements online, and Kojo Coffee will send them to them. So the website, we might post up the website on Instagram, but they stock all of the Macro Mike's products. And great prices as well. And they do discounts for Fernwood Salisbury members too. So it's not just about coffee, even though coffee is like life, but
we'll do a little post for that as well, so people know where to find it. Yep.
And Fernwood at Salisbury, which look, we know I'm biased. We know that I think it's one of the best gyms that there is, but I trained legs there today, and I've been doing that same leg session at another gym on the weekends when the kids go to their dad's, just because it's up the road and I like to walk. But there's something to be said about equipment that has been selected specifically by the owner, who is female. And, I think I forgot that, and I did that session today, and let me tell you, my glutes have been quivering as I've been sitting here on this bar stool.
Yes, girl.
I lifted heavier today. I did 95 kilo Romanian deadlift because of the, you know, the female bar. Leg press, I went heavier on my single leg press because it's got that back support. The Smith machine, like, yeah. So, yeah, like 4 females, 5 females, 4 females, all females, like, you know, guys, we love you. We just don't want to train with you.
That's right.
And on the same equipment that you use.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well,
let's wrap it up.
Thank you, everyone. And we will post this up as soon as we can.
And please subscribe and share with anyone who you think this might, like, share, tag.
All of them.
Share with anyone who you think that might help, because, you know, we're real women, we're real mums, we talk about real shit. And, you know, we're simply just, my son just repeated what I said.
Anyway.
Time of the year right here. And yeah, you know, like, hopefully people can relate to us. We're not about being fancy. We're not about putting bells and whistles on it. It's just real talk.
Yeah.
And if you think it will help somebody else, we'll, you know, direct them to our podcast, share our podcast, because that's all we're doing it for. We're not doing it for money.
Nah. And look,
you're not getting paid for this, are you?
Hell no. Give us your feedback and thoughts, because, yeah, we like to hear that stuff. So,
yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.